I'm going to make a lamb navarin, and a lamb navarin is a French-style lamb stew. And I'm going to show you my way of making it in the pressure cooker. I can't live without a pressure cooker because I love making stews, and by having a pressure cooker you're cutting out half the time of cooking. So usually if I was doing this in a pot and then slowly cooking it in the oven, it would take around 2.5 hours. If you do it in a pressure cooker, it's only going to take 45 minutes and the results are fantastic. Now what I'm just doing here is cutting some lamb shoulder. I've asked my butcher to take the bone out of the lamb shoulder so I can have nice big chunks of meat like this. Now lamb shoulder is a secondary cut, so it's absolutely perfect for stewing just like this. You can see that there's a little bit of fat in there, and that means this meat's going to stay quite moist. Now I'm just oiling this, so olive oil on here. I'm just doing it all on the board, along with some salt, a good pinch of salt, and you can add some pepper at this stage too, so a crack of pepper. I've just been heating up my pressure cooker. I want it to be quite hot at this stage because what I want is some good colour on these lamb pieces. So just rub it in the oil there, and then we're going to cook this in batches. That's a good sound when it comes to searing off meat. So and I'll do this in 3 batches so it's all brown. Then I'm going to remove it and add some onions and some carrots. Now I've returned the meat to the pan. I've also cooked off the carrots and the onions and a little bit of garlic there. A little bit of flour is quite useful for this because it's going to thicken up the sauce. But you don't want to add the flour, then the liquid, because you're going to get that raw flavour of the flour. So just give it a stir and cook that for another 30 seconds. You'll see it start to thicken straight away and absorb any of the liquid that's on the base there. Now I'm going to add 1 tomato, and the beautiful thing about a pressure cooker is you throw everything in at the same time and miraculously it cooks evenly. So that can go in, along with the potatoes. Now you don't want to slice the potatoes, you want to keep them whole. Again, whole kifla potatoes just like this is the perfect size for everything to cook evenly. So they can also go in. I need to season this a little bit more, so some salt and some pepper. And now some wine. So white wine for a lamb navarin. And then you just allow that to bubble away, and then I'm going to add some liquid. Now, how does a pressure cooker work? Well, the steam is going to build up in this pressure cooker once I put the lid on. That traps the pressure in there, which means that this is going to cook much faster. It's actually even going to go over boiling point. So instead of cooking for 2 hours, it's going to cook for only 45 minutes, even half an hour, and the meat is going to be super soft. Now, before I put the lid on, let's get some herbs in here. Rosemary and lamb love each other, so a little bit of rosemary and some bay leaves. So my nifty lid here goes into position and I'll lock it. Now that that's locked, the pressure is going to build in there and you'll actually hear a little whistle. Once it starts to whistle, then I'm going to turn the heat down and let that cook for 45 minutes. Now I've released the steam, so it's now safe to open the lid, and voila. Oh, that smell, well, it smells like my mum's house. She would make this dish for us on a cold winter night, or coming into spring. There's 2 different times to do it, and you change your vegetables accordingly. So in spring, if you can find these beautiful asparagus, by all means add them, and also some beans. In the middle of winter, you can add some more root vegetables to it. I've blanched my asparagus here, and I've also blanched the beans, so I just need to heat them up. I'm going to do that in the sauce in a moment, but for now, in my serving plate, we're just going to take out the vegetables here, so the potatoes. You can see the potatoes have held their shape nicely, so we can add them. I like to add the rosemary there for presentation, so just get that too. And have a look at the meat. This is why I love the pressure cooker, because you get that slow cooked meat in 45 minutes. See how it just falls away? It's tender, it's still very soft, it's succulent lamb. So I'm going to add a bit more to this and pile it up generously. Get those tomatoes in there, the carrots. And now, because that's so hot in there, I just need to warm these up, and they'll take moments to heat up. I'll just mix them in and we'll take them out and garnish the top of this lamb Navarin. And now for some sauce. I'm just going to get a ladle here, and then we'll ladle that over the meat. And the vegetables are in there. You've got the green vegetables for the garnish, you've got the potatoes. All we really need is some crusty baguette for this classic, very delicious French dish.